How do you get some like new techniques?
Books, traveling, going to teachers, my own research. The main thing that I learned is if you want to really learn something, you're going to have to travel to find the teacher. The teacher won't come to you. I've been really proud of all of my students pretty much. For the upper body, the main strength work is done on the rings. Ito said something along the lines of the more expensive the tool, the cheaper the mover.
Would you say that everybody should be able to do a handstand or like, all these skills like one arm pull up or something like that?
Absolutely not. I would never think that my grandma should do a one arm pull up.
Yeah, you mentioned locomotion, and can you explain this? What is it about?
Yeah, you can think of locomotion as learning to navigate the ground with the hands and the feet low to the ground. So think of having a bunch of tables lined up and you have to move under the table, basically. This is the height that we're going after, and we learn different patterns that come from some kung fu stances, some capoeira, a lot of different types of arts are kind of combined in here, and you can see a lot if you're practicing martial arts. You'll see that there's that martial art kung fu side. If you practice capoeira, which is another martial art, you'll see that capoeira side. If you practice dance, you'll see the dance side. So it kind of depends on what you're used to, and you'll kind of identify it as that. But it's learning to navigate the ground close to the ground.
Yeah. What do you think about this animal movement style training? Like walking like a bear or like a lizard, for example?
Yeah, I think the word animal movement is trademarked or something like that. It's like a system or something. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking about, this animal movement system. Compared to Ito's locomotion, there is no comparison in my eye. The locomotion has hundreds of elements, if not over 1,000. It has working towards improvisation. You have much more freedom in it. So if I was doing which one would I choose? Absolutely, every time I would go for locomotion. But that being said, walking like an animal is no problem at all. And within the locomotion, we also do lizard crawls. We do things that resemble different animals as well, but it's different than the animal movement as in the trademark style that they teach in that way.
Yeah. Would you say that? Sorry for just a bit jumping because I have so many things in my mind. Want to talk with you. Would you say that everybody should be able to do a handstand or like all these skills like one arm pull up or something like that? What do you think?
Absolutely not. I would never I would never think that my grandma should do a one arm pull up. So these skills can be very good at certain times to build up to, but they're definitely not necessary. And the necessity of them depends on what you're using them for. For example, if you were competing in rock climbing, maybe you would need a full front lever or somewhere close to that. And maybe you would need some advanced bent arm pulling like a one arm chin up or close to a one arm chin up. Maybe that would benefit you in that area. But if you're not someone that competes and uses that strength and absolutely needs it, then maybe it's not a necessity. Maybe we can get away with much less intensity on the body. But that being said, the process of learning it can be the reason why it's advantageous to learn. Like the one-arm handstand, I don't use this almost ever in my practice, but that process of learning it and having to be so dedicated towards learning a one-arm handstand was the advantage. Everything, not everything, but a lot of different things are so easy for me simply because I remember the process of going through, for example, the one-arm handstand, which was incredibly painful, especially mentally, to learn because you're failing so often. You're by yourself. There's no one to help you. It's a very difficult thing. So I don't think that yeah, to answer your question more basically, no, not everyone needs a handstand.
Yeah, would agree 100%. Would you what do you think about the terms wrong and right, or bad and good movements? Do you think something like this exists, or is it just like in our mind?
No, I think it doesn't exist. But when you're teaching something, there is such thing as you're doing it well or you're doing it not so well. But in the general sense of doing this is bad for you and doing this is good for you, I don't think really exists. Of course, you could be using a much higher intensity than you should be, and then you're more likely to get injured. But there's the movement itself has no inherent bad or good, I think.
Something that I like to say is like there are no right or wrong movements, or like moves, whatever. And the main problem is that the people who are doing these things, like for example the handstand, they are like watching YouTube video with a handstand and think, okay, I will train directly without like no experience like from kung fu or kickboxing, and just directly jump from like fitness training into the handstand, get an injury, and then say like this is shit, or it's wrong, or it's a bad move. And yeah, not only with handstand, but maybe like also with other moves. And that's something that I realized, that people are mostly not like prepared well from body and mind to like use these movements.
Yes, and I think the good thing about developing some level of body weight strength is if you're not strong enough to do it, usually it just doesn't happen. So, for example, if you're not strong enough to do a one-arm chin-up, you're not going to be able to move off that arm, and nothing bad's going to happen. You're simply going to get no movement. But if you try to squat 400 kg when you never don't squat very regularly, then that can end up very bad for you. So there's some good things about developing some body weight strength, in the sense that it's harder to do a more advanced progression because you simply can't do it.
Yeah. Do you have some like regeneration insights from your life? Like, do you like uncovered some secret regeneration processes in your life? Do you like cold showers, for example, or do you go into a sauna or things like that, or massage rollers, whatever? Do you use something like that, or do you like build up a routine to like regenerate like deeper, not better, faster, but deeper maybe?
No secrets, definitely no secrets, but I have used some of the things that you've talked about in the past, like cold showers, being exposed to the cold. My hometown in America can get very cold in the winter, so I'll use that time to go outside and explore. And a funny, I guess not a funny story, but when we were training Kung Fu in China, we were training in January, and it's freezing cold, snowing outside. We're training at 6 a.m. We go out there and we're going to do some soft work. So we're not going to get our body temperature up very high. So we're already freezing cold. We have our gloves on, and the coach in front of us tells us, take off your gloves, teach your body how to warm up your hands by themselves. So we took off our gloves. The first couple of days, completely frozen, can't feel them for a good 5 minutes or so after the work. And then after that, the hands learned to warm themselves up and no longer needed those gloves for that particular work. So I think that there's some very powerful things to using the cold, using the heat to train and understand what's happening in the body. And then as far as like massage goes, I do get massages and use some more Chinese style techniques. For example, I had another injury to my knee while I was in China. I basically, I'd never got an MRI, so this isn't for sure, but the doctor told me more than likely I had done something to the ACL. It wasn't ruptured or anything, but I had done something. And my knee swelled up to the size of a balloon. I could barely walk on it. And they recommended that I get acupuncture and I had never done acupuncture before. So I said, okay, I'll give it a try. So he said, we need to do 5 days of acupuncture in a row. The sessions are going to probably be like an hour to 90 minutes in total. So I tried it. After 3 days, 80% of the inflammation was gone. After 5 days, 90% of it was gone. And then it was a matter of slowly getting it out after that. So I had some very good experience with acupuncture for that particular injury. So if you have a good practitioner and you have some inflammation, possibly their acupuncture can be good for inflammation. And I've read studies where they've basically said the same thing that I did, where acupuncture can help to reduce inflammation.
Yeah, really interesting. What I had in my mind now, as you told the story and these things, how do you get some like new techniques, or how do you find some new things that you include in your own training or in your coaching? Like, do you explore and play and test it by yourself, or do you like read some books or like travel to like maybe some cultures that have some special techniques? Or do you want to share how you come or how you get some like new knowledge, if I could tell it like that, or where you are inspired most for like exploring new stuff?
Yeah, all of the things that you mentioned, I use all of the above. So books, traveling, going to teachers, my own research. The main thing that I learned is, if you want to really learn something, you're going to have to travel to find the teacher. The teacher won't come to you. I remember Ito had a workshop in America, and it was probably 3 hours from my hometown. And somebody commented, when are you going to come here? And it was right next to my hometown. When are you going to come to this place? And I think Ito or someone from the team commented on something like, we are already here. We're not going to be at your next door neighbor's house. You're going to have to do some sort of travel. And for us, it might be 3 hours. It might be 15 hours if you're coming to China from America. That's how long the flight is if you get a direct flight. But I've done a lot of traveling to learn from the best, and that's what you're going to have to do, no matter if you want to get better at learning a general movement practice or music or something like this. You're going to need to travel. And of course, right now is probably not the best time to travel, but hopefully in the near future, things will open up and we'll be able to go and learn. And that's one of the things that I'm most excited about, to go back and continue to travel and learn from my teachers. I'm very excited about. And then I do my own research. I have basically some tasks or some things that I'm interested in that I want to explore. So, for example, for the past month or so, I've been really getting into balancing on the rail. Now, this is something that I've gone through with via Ito Pratel's online coaching. So I've gone through a process to learn this already, but now I'm getting deeper by myself. So I'm starting to learn possibly different mounts to get into the rail, combining things, improvisation, learning different types of things on the rail. And it's a very fun part of the practice for me. So this is where I take my interest and I go a little bit deeper by myself without a teacher. And then I also have a teacher where I go into different disciplines very heavily. And now I have a teacher's response and a teacher's guidance in a particular discipline.
Yeah, I do quite the same with the in-deep like research. Like, for example, did some months of kettlebell training, then some months of breathing work, like nasal breathing and breathing stops and all these things, Wim Hof breathing, ice bathing. And after some months of going deep inside this topic and exploring it by myself, learned so many things and won't forget them again, and incorporated them into my habits or daily life when they were useful for me, or I know they are useful for clients, for example. And it's a good way, in my eyes or my mind opinion to explore things and learn them, and like for traveling for some weeks or some days can like upgrade so many things in ourselves. Yeah, really, really nice what you just said. Yeah. You mentioned like object manipulating, like balls and walls. And would you like
Balls to the wall.
would you love to explain these things, and why do you use these things in your coaching or in your training by yourself? Isn't it a bit childish to play with balls?
Yes, and that's why I do it, I think. Now, I think for me personally, naturally, I am terrible at manipulating objects with my hands, with my feet, with my head. So one of the main reasons that I would be interested in it is simply because I am uncomfortable in it. If I ever feel comfortable, I know I'm moving in the wrong direction. I kind of strive towards what makes me uncomfortable, and trying to improve that, being uncomfortable in that particular space. So for me, it's a very fun practice to go from being absolutely level 0 and then getting to level 0.5 is a very important thing, is a very interesting thing to see for sure. So it can be a fun part of the practice, but the reason that I learn anything is simply because I trust a teacher to take me through the process. If I have a good teacher, I will learn anything, whether that be music or art or some type of drawing or something here, or ceramics. I will learn it if there is a good teacher. And that's why when I was in China, I learned Kung Fu, because there are good Kung Fu teachers here. So I took the opportunity that I had. And then the reasons that my students do it are probably very similar. Possibly it interests them. It's a fun part of the practice. It's a little bit more playful. This is the main reason.
Yeah, I'm the same, quite. But as I realized, it has also to do with my eyes. Like one eye is a bit like shifted outside more than the other one. And I don't know how this exactly happened, but I think it was like a trauma while I was born. And for example, like most of the time, one eye of my eyes is offline and the other one is doing all the work. So I'm like more into train my eyes. And I realized that, because of this lesser quality of information through my eyes, I'm not that good, like for example in ball games or related things with balls and catching and throwing, and that was quite interesting thing I explored by myself.
So object manipulation would be very good for you, I think.
Yeah. Yes. We talked about so many things. How can people like get in contact with you? What is your like coaching looking like? Who can join? Is it easy to join, or do you like have some requirements for joining you, or is it offline? Is it online? Maybe get us talk about some stuff you are doing on YouTube, because I found you about YouTube via YouTube, and I think it's quite helpful and interesting because you're doing so many tutorials and like going into all these parts of the moves. And maybe you want to explain about YouTube and how can people find you to get in contact with you and maybe get you as their coach.
Yeah, so if you're interested in what I'm doing and you want to get in contact, I have a website. The website is taowaymove.com, TAO move.com, taowaymove.com. And on there, you'll find videos from my YouTube. So there you can find my YouTube, and you'll also find my email on there as well. Email is the best way to contact me. So if you're interested, you can contact me through email. As far as taking on students, I do take on online students, but I have just a few spaces left because I want to keep it relatively small so I can be as in contact with my current students as possible. There are no prerequisites as far as you need to be able to do this or that. There are people from everywhere. Some people come very strong, very mobile. Some people come without being able to hang or be able to squat. So there's a big demographic, but one thing that stays the same is if you're going to come, you're going to need to come and you're going to need to work and you're going to need to make some sacrifices. So for online coaching, we need video communication. So you're going to be taking videos of yourself. You're going to be analyzing. You're going to be sending them to me, and I will be giving you feedback this way. So if you are uncomfortable filming yourself, if you're uncomfortable editing together, basic editing together videos, then online coaching is probably not for you. If you're not going to spend an hour a day at least on your practice, then online coaching is not for you. I realize it's not for everyone, and that's totally fine. But if you are interested in learning from me, that is an option. I also do teach in person. Obviously, right now I'm in China. So if you're in China, you can contact me. If you're outside of China, right now it's very difficult to get inside China. So I don't expect anyone to be traveling into China to train with me. But in the future, that's a possibility as well. I do workshops as well. I actually will be doing a workshop in China very soon. But hopefully, once things open, I'll be doing some workshops in different countries. So that'll be another opportunity to join. And I will have some in-person opportunities as well. And as far as group classes go, right now, these will be in China. So if you are in China and you're interested in joining a group of people that move together and inspire each other, you can contact me as well. And then as far as YouTube, I started this YouTube channel originally as kind of like an archive of okay, this is what I can do now. Let's just upload a video. So if you go on my YouTube channel and just look at my oldest video, it'll probably be, I don't remember exactly, probably like a muscle up or something like that. And then it slowly evolved into some basic tutorials, maybe on like a chin up. And then I started doing some very cringy vlogs where I videotaped myself doing my practice. And then people got interested, and then I started doing more and more. And then what I've realized through gaining a following on YouTube is that I want to share information that people will actually use. So you'll notice in my titles, there's no clickbait. In my thumbnails, there's no incredible looking thumbnail. It's very basic. And I do this on purpose. I'm not looking to get hundreds of thousands of subscribers or millions of subscribers. I don't want people watching my videos and then just end up having empty views. I want people watching my videos, the majority of them, to actually use the information, apply it, and actually gain something from it. Because for me, YouTube was a very good source for me to start to learn some of these things. So I want to be a channel where you can come and learn some things about the philosophy behind certain things, maybe a tutorial here and there, maybe see how my practice is. And you can gain some insights. So although my channel is growing, I'm honestly quite scared if it does grow to be very big. It's a scary thought for that to actually happen. So in a way, I'm doing things to limit the growth of my channel in some ways. But at the same time, I do want people that are interested and going to use the information to find it. So if you're interested, my YouTube is simply Tao Way. You can search the Tao Way and find my YouTube channel there. And hopefully you enjoy some of my style and some of my videos. And I'll continually put out content that I think is important and continually increasing quality, hopefully.
Mm. If you are ever interested, please get a workshop done in Germany, because like followings of movement culture and like also for you is, I think, growing more than ever. And I think there is a highly interested community for participating in workshops with you, for example.
I would love to travel to Germany. And what's funny is if you look at the analytics from my YouTube channel, the first one is United States. And I think the second or third one is Germany. So I don't know why I come across well in Germany, but I'm glad to hear that. And I get a lot of people contacting me from Germany, this area. So I'm very happy that some people in that area are enjoying.
Yeah, perfect. I will put a clickbait title about on our podcast. So just for the record. No.
Okay.
I will link all these things you mentioned, like YouTube tutorials. We may talk again to put some stuff into the show notes for people, and we'll direct them to all the things you mentioned. And Antonio, if there's anything you want to tell the listeners what is on your heart from the deep inside, you can tell them now, or we are leaving the podcast.
Deep inside my heart. Oh, geez, that's probably very, very difficult.
You already said so many things from your heart.
Yeah. Maybe all of it was from my heart already. Yeah. Hopefully, the main thing I want the listener to get out of this is to explore more from their body, to move more. If you're listening to this podcast right now, squat down for a second, go hang for a second, move the spine. It's a very important thing. We don't get a second body. So we need to appreciate what we have, and hopefully allow our body to work for us and not feel trapped inside of it.
Yeah. Jump, run, walk, climb, squat, hang. Yeah. So many things. Lift.
Yes.
And play with your children if you have children, and enjoy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Enjoy everything outside. Explore. Even if you have a dog, just run. Take them for a run or whatever. And Antonio, I'm very thankful. I can only highly appreciate people to get in contact with you and ask for coaching or participate if you are interested in all these things that Antonio told you. And I hope it's a help for you. We will link everything in the show notes. And Antonio, goodbye, and till the next time.
Thank you, Florian. It's been a pleasure to be on. I will hopefully be talking to you soon.
Yeah. Goodbye, Antonio.
Goodbye.
Das war die heutige Folge. Ich hoffe, du hast etwas für dich mitnehmen können, etwas gelernt oder direkt etwas angewendet, während du zugehört hast. Lass es mich wissen, wenn du irgendetwas davon für dich umsetzen konntest. Schreib mir dazu gerne bei Instagram unter bewusstsein.und.physis oder tritt direkt dem Discord-Stamm bei und gib dort Rückmeldung, stell deine Fragen, alles, was du auf dem Herzen hast, zum heute besprochenen Thema. Hast du selber einen Wunsch für den Podcast? Dann schreib ihn mir ebenso. Gerne lade ich auch diese Menschen ein, die dir auf deinem Weg geholfen haben mit ihren Erfahrungen und ihrem Wissen. Alle weiteren Informationen findest du in den Beschreibungen dieser Folge und auf meiner Website bewusstsein-und-physis.de. Dort findest du auch ein schriftliches Transkript der Folge, sowie alle weiteren Links und in dieser Folge besprochenen Punkte, zum Beispiel Bücher, Kurse, Webseiten und vieles weitere. Danke fürs Zuhören. Bis zur nächsten Folge.